Hello and welcome to this episode. I think it's episode 13 of Into the Composer's Mind. My name is Byron Herman and I have been presenting a series chronicling the composition of a new chamber music piece. And those who have been following this know we're kind of getting towards the end of the project. And this is where lots of interesting small revisions and little additions come into the score to kind of tie it together and put on a final product. So just wanted to talk about a couple of things before that. I know during COVID times there's been all sorts of activities that have been taking place that maybe haven't been doing people are doing that they wouldn't have done in the past. It's one of those things is making puzzles, doing jigsaw puzzles. It's hard to find them in the stores. So many people are doing them. A lot of people have been taking up gardening, and another project that people have been doing are home renovations. So why am I talking about all of these three things? Well, these are three activities that have that people have a particular way in which they like to do them. Process or a procedure they'd like to go through to create their garden, to finish their renovations, to just do their puzzle. And a lot of these processes are identical to the kinds of processes that a composer might go through in their composition. And of course, it varies from person to person. For example, doing a puzzle. Some people take the open the box, dump all the pieces out, and put all the outside pieces in one place, and then leave another pile in another place, and then they do all the outside pieces first, so they have an idea of what the basic structure is going to look like, and then they kind of zero in on some particular feature of the puzzle they're doing, the color or a building or a tree or something, and they try to find the pieces that do one particular little part of the puzzle, and then they go on to another little part of the puzzle. Some people separate all the pieces into shapes to start with. Ones with 2 knobs, 3 knobs, 4 knobs, this shape, that shape, and they put those all into different piles. So everyone has their own approach to solving or doing a jigsaw puzzle. Getting the basic structure, looking at the individual components, putting them together, and finding the pieces that need to be put together. And as the puzzle progresses, people start to get maybe a little more excited. There's not so many pieces left. You're able to maybe change your strategy a little bit. You got 100 pieces left of a 2,000 piece puzzle, and you can just start going by shape instead of having to worry about the colors and things. So there's different ways to finalize your project, and then you get down to the final 5 or 10 pieces, and then of course the final piece that goes in of the puzzle, and then it's all done. So when is a composition all done? When does that final piece go in and you're ready to sign it and pass it on? So that's one way that some people solve a problem. Gardening. You have to build your garden area. Is it going to be a raised bed, a flat bed? Is it going to have what kind of soil is going to go in? You're going to do all the preparation. Have your seeds. And so there's different ways that people approach their gardening. How big is it going to be? How small? And what's the final, you have an idea in your head what the final product's going to look like. Colors, if you're doing just flowers, or a theme, if you have a theme garden, or if it's a vegetable garden, what kind of vegetables are going to grow. You do your research, what can grow here, what's the climate like, what's the weather like, how are things going. These are all similar processes to what a composer is doing, trying to put the pieces together. Have a general idea, and then you start to put in some of the different ideas. And again, the last thing I mentioned was home renovations. So you're going to build a room or build an addition. Well, you have to have the architectural plans to start with. have to have some idea of what the general structure is going to be like. You got to build the foundation, and then the walls, and then the work on the inside is what takes place. And we all know that the finishing part on the inside sometimes never gets finished, but hopefully in your home renovations it does get finished. This is the stage again we're at in the music composition where some of the finishing is going on, and that's where some of the exciting little final additions to the product, to the piece, take place. And that can be difficult and that can be easy. So why am I comparing these processes? The composer is doing a lot of mental, cognitive activities that everybody does in their own activities. And it is very domain specific. So I want to do one last thing in this episode, and that's talk a little bit about what's called program music. And now some musicians think that, well, program music is a kind of a naughty word, but as opposed to abstract or absolute music. Well, not always the case. I mean, program music kind of puts a little extra musical narrative onto the music that you're writing. It has the music is intended to evoke certain images to convey an impression of events. And certainly this piece that I'm writing now called Remembrance and deals with my impression of events and dealing with the life of my father. It is a programmatic piece of music, and hopefully will be able to sit as an absolute piece of music as well. And of course, you may or may not know various composers who have specialized in programmatic music, Richard Strauss, Debussy, even Bach, PDQ Bach, more contemporary composers like Gershwin or Terry Riley, or of course some of the famous Beethoven symphonies. There's a lot of programmatic music out there. This piece that I'm writing is for the most part programmatic. So now I'm going to focus just on the CODA, the last part of the piece, and you'll be hearing some of that in the background because that's what I've been working on in the last couple of days. And this is, those who have been following the piece know the first part of the piece was about my father's commitment to his faith, and then the second part is commitment to his community, and the third part is commitment to family. The CODA provides, for me, I'm trying to image the last phase of his life. So in this final 1.5, 2 minute segment, I'm going from how I think he might have been, I know that Dad was talking about his face. So there's some chant going on in the background. There's some evocative scoring in the instruments parts. There's a story being read that was being read to my father as he was nearing his death. These images are all there in the music. There's a big crescendo in the music as it grows from out of this story into 3 or 4 magnificent chords that for me represented, at the actual time of passing, where you might feel, and I know in Dad's with his faith that he was finally moving on to wherever he was moving on to. And then at the very end, hearing some of his own words about what a great life he had, and then finally the sound of a lute, which some people feel, which who knows what's happening after in the afterlife. So it is a programmatic piece. I just wanted to say a little bit about the CODA, and that's I've talked long enough for today. So I will be talking more in the next episode about how this final project is going. So once again, thank you for listening. Thank you to the Canada Council for your support of this project. And if you haven't subscribed yet to this video series, please do so. And tell your friends, send them on, share, like, and all these things help in the final product. So once again, thank you, and I look forward to our next episode on Into the Composer's Mind.
was quite a, it was quite a time.